Bonjour, bonjour, salut, ça va? Oui? Aujourd'hui, une petite révision, l'alphabet et puis la prononciation. Ok? On commence. So let's start off with a little revision. So how would you write this conversation? And imagine this is a formal situation, like this woman seems to be maybe interviewing for a job. How would you write these questions using the formal vous? So why don't you pause the PowerPoint and jot down your answers. See how well you remember from our last slide presentation. Did you do it? Yes? Okay, let's take a look at the answers. Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Je m'appelle Madame Cuget, quand je m'appelle Karen, ou je m'appelle Marc. Et vous? And then, enchanté. Delighted to meet you. Comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? How are you? Je vais bien. Et vous? Je vais bien. And then, au revoir. Goodbye. Good job. Did you get it? I hope so. If you didn't, review those expressions. Very important. If you can have no other conversation in French, this is where you need to start. What is your name? How are you? You definitely need to have these at the top of your head, on the tip of your tongue, so that when you meet somebody who speaks French, and I encourage you to do this, go up to them and say, Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Okay, I hope you don't feel like you went back to kindergarten today, but we do have to learn the French alphabet. We're starting with the basics, because once you learn how the letters are pronounced, you will understand French pronunciation much better. So, start at the beginning. A, repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E. Repeat that again. E, F, G. Now, what did I call this? G. Oh, that's confusing. H, E. Ah, this is called an E in French. And what was this called? This was called an E. E versus E. Let me get my laser pointer. So, H, E, G. Oh, so this is called G, and this letter is called J. This letter is called E, and this letter is called E. So H, E, J, K, L, M, N, O, easy, P. So we have B, D, P. Q, Q. Now that U sound is very special to French. It's a nasal U. And the way you make that sound is to, everybody say E, like you're saying cheese. E. Now round your lips like you're saying oo, but instead of saying oo, say E, but with rounded lips. Oo. Oo. Practice it. I want you to practice that every night before you go to bed. Oo. So Q, R, S, T, U. This is a Q, and this is a U. V. V, V. W, double V, W. X. Y. Y literally means Greek I. Y. And Z. Okay, it's important that you know how to say the letters because, again, this will help with pronunciation. So now let's go over it all together. A, repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I'm going to quiz you. What is this letter? A. How about this one? E. How about this one? E. What's this? H. How about this one? K. Oh, this is a tricky one. J. How about this one? Did I say J? That's J. Sorry. J. I'm getting myself confused. This is J. It's the opposite of what we expect in English. J and J. J, J, E, I. How about this one? P. How about this? R. R. How about this one? T. So this is a B. How about this? D. How about this? B. You see a pattern here? T. And V. This is U. Remember, you're rounding your lips, but you're saying E, U, and Q. How about this one? W. How about this one? Greek I, remember? Y. And this? Z. How about this one? X. So keep practicing the letters of the alphabet. And, oh, what does this mean? So, I can't remember where I found this, but the E and the J are tricky for English speakers. And if you imagine that both of these little dots on top of the I and the J are little spiders. I don't like spiders. I don't know about you, but you might say E or G. I don't know if that helps, but if you're a visual learner, picture the little dots as a spider, and that will remind you to say E. Instead of I, it's an E. Instead of J, it's a G. There you go. Let's talk about pronunciation now that we know the letters. The R. A lot of people, especially English speakers, have a little difficulty with the French R. So that you're going to pronounce the R. If you say the K, in English, the K, the same place in your throat where you're making the K is where the is going to come from. So practicing there are two types of R's. There's a very strong it's called a wet R, like you're going to spit on somebody. And a wet R is followed by a vowel. So Paris, Paris, you really hear the because it's followed by the I. And now we know that the I is called an E. So that's why you're going to pronounce it an E. Paris. And then we have what we call a dry R. It's not followed by a vowel, and it's a very soft. So Robert, Robert, it starts off with a wet R, very strong, and then it ends with a dry R. Robert, Robert. And notice that we're not pronouncing the S in Paris or the T in Robert, because careful, generally, only the consonants C, R, F, and L are pronounced at the end of a French word. So those are all the consonants in the word careful, the English word careful, C, R, F, and L. That's how you can remember it. So, for example, the province or the city of Quebec in Canada, Quebec, you pronounce that C at the end. Bonjour, that's a soft R, but you still hear it, bonjour. Neuf, neuf, that's the number 9, which we will learn shortly. You pronounce that F. And we've seen this, mal, when we say not bad, pas mal. So those are the only consonants that we generally pronounce at the end of a word. So Paris, Robert. Are we going to pronounce this S here? No. So it's très, bien. We're not pronouncing the N either. Très bien. You're repeating after me, right? Ce soir. Is that a wet or dry R? Yes, it's dry. It's at the end of the word, so you can barely hear it. Ce soir. Pardon. Pardon. That's also a dry R. It's very light. Ça peut aller. Ah, so the ER is pronounced A. That's different. The I is, we know the I in French is called an I, so that's how it's pronounced. Merci. How would you pronounce this word? Tigre. Now we know the E is called an E, so you're going to hear the E. Tigre. The OU is ooh. You really want to round your lips. Vous. We don't pronounce that S, right? Bonjour. It's a dry R at the end. Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? We're not pronouncing that T, but we're OO and OO. And the U, which we have already talked about, we're going to say E, like in cheese, and we're going to round our lips as if we're saying OO, but we're going to still say E. U, U. Salut. Tu. Excusez-moi. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? So practice that U. The OI is pronounced wa. Repeat after me. Moi. Toi. Au revoir. It's a very dry R at the end. Au revoir. You can barely hear it. And you have the other nasal vowels. Generally, when you have the N or an M preceded by a vowel, you're not going to pronounce the N or M. You are going to, that's going to become a nasal vowel. So what does that mean? Everybody hold your finger to the side of your nose and everybody say, make the S sound. S, right? You don't hear any vibration. Now make an sound like yummy. You hear the vibration. So when you're making the nasal vowel, you should feel that vibration. And the way you make that the vowel, bon, the nasal vowel, is you have to drop your soft palate. What does that mean? So you have the roof of your mouth. You have the hard palate is at the front, right behind your teeth, and the soft palate is in the back of your mouth, on top. If you drop that down, you round your lips, drop the soft palate, and you can say bon, on, bonjour, bonjour. À demain. Un is another nasal vowel. À demain. Enchanté, that en, enchanté. And pardon, on. Good. So, now that we've learned the alphabet, you should be able to spell your name if somebody asks you how to spell it. So everybody, let's say this. Je m'appelle Jean Martin. How would we spell this name? What's this letter? Remember, there's a spider on top here. J, O, H, N, nouveau mot, new word, M, A, R, T, I, N. Now go ahead and spell your name. Je m'appelle. Go ahead and spell it. How would you spell your name? we're going to do a quick listening exercise. Mes initiales. Let's pretend that these are somebody's initials. Which ones am I saying? Am I saying column 1 or column 2? Okay, if I say j'y vais, is that column 1 or 2? That's column 2, J. Remember, the J has a spider on top of it. E. EM. EM. Is that column 1 or 2? Yes, good job. CR. CR. Yes, column 1. AT. Yes, AT. This would be HT. GP. GP. Which one is it? Column 2, GP. EB. EB. Yes, it's column 2, EB. VJ. VJ. Column 2, VJ. And this would be W. Double V. W. XL. XL. Yes, column 1. ME. ME. Column 2, ME. What is this letter again? That's E. YC. Yes, column 1. YC. Good job. Now the accents. These annoying accents in French, they are, some of them, essential to pronunciation. Either way, you do have to memorize the accent with the spelling, because an accent can make a difference in terms of meaning. So this one that's going up is called an accent aigu. Accent aigu, and it's usually on an E, and it makes the E say A. The E is pronounced A. So an E without an accent, we know, is pronounced E. When it has that accent, it's pronounced A, as in the English word way, A. The accent grave, you can think about as grave. It's a serious accent, sort of like if you can imagine a sad face that has eyebrows going down. Accent grave. Sometimes it's on an A. It doesn't make a difference in the pronunciation when it's on an A, but when it's on an E, the E is pronounced E, as in the word red. E. So this is pronounced A, and this is E. You hear the difference? Accent circonflexe. It doesn't make any difference in pronunciation, it just exists. Actually, it's being phased out of a lot of words in French spelling because it's considered archaic, but for now you still have to do it. Tréma, the 2 dots, tréma. Tréma indicates that you're going to pronounce that vowel separately from the vowel before that. And we've seen this little guy before, a C with a tail. It's called a cédille. A cédille means that C is pronounced like an S. So this word is pronounced enchanté. The E accent aigu, you know, is pronounced A. How is this word pronounced? It's got the accent grave. Très. Do we pronounce that S? No, because it's not one of those 4 vowels in the word careful. Très bien. Très bien. Comme si, comme ça. And here we see the little tréma. Because we have 2 vowels together here, the tréma indicates that these 2 vowels are pronounced separately. So you know this word, Noël. Noël, Christmas. And some important punctuation marks. Apostrophe, repeat after me, apostrophe, point, point d'exclamation, point d'interrogation, trait d'union, virgule. So, a little more about our friend the circonflexe. It can be a good clue for English speakers because it often marks an omitted consonant, usually an S. So if you see the word ancêtre, you can imagine the S that comes after the E, that we know that word is ancestor. For your homework, you have one more power presentation for Chapter 1. Remember, your discussion entries have 2 separate due dates this week. One is for your original response, and the second one is to respond to several group mates, your assignments, and we also have flashcards in Quizlet on the introductory words and phrases. And I want to give you this great tip. If you do your homework in Word, you can turn on spell check in French. Very easy to do. You just go to Review, Set Language, Proofing Language, and French, and it will quickly detect which language you're typing in and then correct for that language. It'll save you a lot of time. If we go into Microsoft Word here, go under Review, Language, Set Proofing Language, and scroll down. Many languages to choose from, many varieties of French. I generally choose the French from France, and that way if I type something like très bien, right away it recognizes that I am missing an accent. Voila. But it won't find all of your spelling errors or all of your missing accents. So you will need to know how to insert accents manually. And you can either do that by using insert and symbol, and then pull up this whole list of symbols, or you can use the codes that I listed. I have a handout under the introductory materials, and that's another way you can add your accents. So, félicitations! One more PowerPoint to go. Continuez. Ciao et à bientôt.